I do through my Zero to Influence YouTube Bootcamp and the channels that I manage and grow involves looking at channels and immediately figuring out what can we do right now to help this channel grow. These are 5 things that I like to do with all of my new clients whenever I start the onboarding process with them when first starting to work with them. The first thing that I want you to do is to go back and optimize your best performing videos. So in YouTube Analytics, you can actually go through and see which of your videos are performing the best right now in this moment. I want you to go through that list and do this to each of those videos. In your description, right at the top of the description, put a link to another one of your videos. Easy to find if somebody wants to click out and they see something of interest, and you don't have to click see more in order to see that. It's right there at the top. You'll see it here in this video. When you do this, make sure that the first line includes the main keyword phrase for that video, also known as your title. And then you can add the title to the related video along with the link. For SEO purposes, you do want the first thing in your description to reflect that video's keyword phrase. And by doing that, you're giving your viewer another option of one of your own videos if they lose interest in one of yours, or they're at the end of yours and they want to keep watching and binging your channel. The other thing I do for my clients is in the description, I like adding about 4 additional video links, some of which are yours and some of which are other creators. I usually do about 2 to 3 that are other creators and 1 or 2 that are yours that are related to your video. And what that's doing is it's giving your viewer other options of other videos to watch, some of your own. But what it's also doing is it's sending a signal to YouTube that these videos are related, and therefore giving more data to YouTube to tell them, hey, you should recommend this video against these other channels and against these other videos. And I would always pick videos from channels that have a similar niche to yours and basically have the audience that you want, or have an audience that would be interested in your own content. The other thing that you should do is to make sure that those best performing videos have cards on them, specifically cards in the second half of the video, because if someone's losing interest in your video or they're ready to watch another one, you want to give them options of videos that can keep them on your channel and continue accumulating watch time. So make sure you add cards. I always say, you know, a good rule of thumb is look and see where your average view duration is for that video. If it's 50% or 60%, then put a card around that time, and definitely another one at the end. And of course, if you're mentioning another video, make sure you include a card there as well. The next thing you want to do is to optimize your AdSense. So if you are monetized, and this tip applies to you, is I would definitely go in the same group of videos, so your top performing videos, make sure that they're set up correctly. So one of the things that I'm always blown away by that people don't do is actually go in themselves and set up their monetization for each video. I have seen channels double, triple, quadruple their AdSense revenue just by doing this one thing. A lot of people like to leave it up to YouTube to figure out where the mid-roll ads are going to be. And oftentimes I've actually found that YouTube won't put one at all, or if they do, it's like way at the end, which makes no sense. Keep in mind that if your video is under 8 minutes, there is no selection on a mid-roll ad. You can't do that. This only applies if you have videos longer than 8 minutes. But definitely if your video is longer than 8 minutes and you're monetized, go in there and set up a mid-roll ad. I always like to do a pre-roll ad, a mid-roll ad, and an end-roll ad at the end of the video. That way, you're maximizing your potential of income for your videos without totally annoying your viewer as well. But I also don't want you to be afraid of adding ads into your videos. I watch a lot of different channels, both from women and men, and I find that men have no problem adding several ads in their videos. I've watched 15-minute videos that have 5 ads sometimes. Is it annoying? Yes. Does it stop me from watching the video? No. If it's content I really want to watch, no. Don't be afraid of that. I like a good rule of thumb is if your video is over 12 minutes, then add a second mid-roll ad. If it's over 30 minutes, then definitely possibly even add a third mid-roll ad. Do what you're comfortable with, but don't be afraid of adding additional mid-roll ads if your videos are on the longer side and they're performing well. I mean, you are really missing out on some income if you've got 20-minute videos that are performing well and you don't even have a mid-roll ad in there, or you only have one. Like I said, I've seen channels double, triple, quadruple their income just by doing this one little thing. The next thing I want you to do is to spruce up your backdrop. A lot of people people kind of leave their backdrop as something that they just, it'll be fine, or they just sit in front of a wall, or they don't put a lot of attention to it. I think your channel's backdrop and where you film your videos is a bigger deal than people make it out to seem. Your backdrop sets the environment for your content. It sets the ambiance for your viewer. They see your backdrop even before you begin speaking. And so I do think you want to put some attention and time into what your backdrop looks like and its reflection on you as a creator. So maybe add a few extra lights back there to kind of brighten it up. Maybe go to somewhere like TJ Maxx and pick up a few things that you can put back there. You want to be aware of what your backdrop is. Don't just sit in front of a blank wall, and also don't sit in a room that's a big mess either. Clean it up, because it can be very distracting if you've got a huge mess back there. You got pets, animals, kids walking around back there. So be deliberate about what your backdrop looks like, and spend an extra 10 minutes, maybe right now or after the video, thinking about what you can do to spruce it up, or even moving things around the house. One thing you can do is just experiment with different backdrops in your home as you're creating content. And you know, when you go back and look at those videos, you'll see actually that backdrop was a lot nicer than that one, or I can see how that one looks kind of dreary and there's nothing really to look at, there's no visual interest. So you can experiment with different ones. I'm all about experimenting on your channel, but I want you to be aware of what your backdrop is and not make it an afterthought. And it's something that you can work on once and you're done. You don't have to do it again and again. Just work on it once, buy a few things, spruce it up, and then you're good to go. The next thing I want you to do is to do a thumbnail audit of your channel. So I want you to go back and I want you to look at these videos that you think should be performing better. And I want you to look at two things. I want you to look at their click-through rate, and I want you to look at the average view percentage. If the click-through rate is less than 4% and the average view duration is higher than 40%, then I want you to change up the thumbnail and the title, or one or the other, because what that data is telling me is that the content's pretty good. People are watching 40%, 50%, 60% of that video, but they're not clicking on it like they should be if your click-through rate is less than 4%. I don't want you to go through and if you think your thumbnails aren't good, it's to replace every single thumbnail you have. I've seen people do that. I think it's a huge waste of time. You want to really zero in and focus on the videos that could perform better if you improve the click-through rate. And the only videos that are going to perform better are the ones that have a decent average view percentage. So anything over 40%. Don't waste your time changing your thumbnail and the title on a video that has 10% view duration or 15% view duration, because even if your click-through rate is higher, more than likely YouTube won't push it out because your view duration is low, and that's sending a signal to YouTube that this video isn't really worth pushing out because people aren't really watching it. A few things to remember when doing this thumbnail audit. If a video is performing well or above average, don't touch it, even if the click-through rate is low. Often when a video takes off, the click-through rate will naturally fall a little bit because there are many more impressions. But if it's doing well, then don't do anything to it. You want to wait at least 48 to 72 hours before making any changes to your thumbnails or title to make sure that you have enough data to make this decision. Your numbers will often change after the first 24 to 48 hours, and it sometimes can take YouTube a bit of time to share the average view percentage data. So definitely go ahead and do that thumbnail audit, and you should see a little bit of a boost to your channel. And finally, the last thing I want you to do is to add playlists to your channel if you don't have them already. Playlists are really great for several different reasons. One is that it gives people an opportunity to binge on your channel. If they find you and they find a playlist of interest, they might just put it on and just binge or put it on the background while they're cleaning or doing whatever. The other thing it can serve is another way for people to find you. Playlists can actually get found through search. That's why it's really important that you don't just create playlists, but that you label the playlist appropriately with the right keywords. So for example, if you're doing a playlist about, say, unboxings, and you do unboxings on your channel, don't just put unboxings, but put the names of the boxes that you unbox. If it's FabFitFun or Stitch Fitch or whatever it is. But in the playlist title, the more keywords, the better, because that's giving YouTube more data in order for it to push it out in searches as people are searching. People can discover playlists through searches. So these are things that you can do right now right at the end of this video. You can replay the video for reference, but these are things that can definitely help you with your channel right now, whether it's to earn more AdSense, help you grow, create a better channel overall. So let me know in the comments, have you done this before? Have you tried any of these things? Which one are you gonna try? And make sure that you hit that notification bell, subscribe so that you don't miss any of the videos. I come out with 2 videos every single week dedicated to your success as a creator so that you achieve the financial and creative freedom that you want. I will see you in the next video. Mwah.